Hey guys, I wanted to talk about something real quick that has nothing to do with what I'm doing. What I'm doing is cooking outside on this nice big flat iron griddle. The spring is finally here, in shorts and t-shirt today, and it's wonderful. What I wanted to talk about was astronomy. You guys have seen some of my videos on that. When I was a kid, my dad and my brother and I used to go and lay in the street at night and watch meteor showers. Or sometimes we'd just go out and lay in the street and look at the sky and just see what we could see. Most of the time we'd see something. And of course the meteors were fun when they were there. I'm sure you guys have seen it, you know, a speck of dust or a small piece of rock comes slamming into the atmosphere at a couple, tens of thousands of miles an hour and burns up with the friction and just streaks all the way across the sky. It's pretty astounding. It's pretty fun. Falling star, shooting star, meteor, whatever, they're rare enough you make a wish on them. That kind of experience with my dad was probably what got me interested in astronomy in the first place. That and seeing Saturn through a telescope for the first time. So, but there was something else there. You know, you spend time outdoors, particularly at night. That's also where you learn about the katydids and the spring peepers and the tree frogs. And you learn that you can have a conversation with a screech owl. And you can learn about things like advection fog and what happens when the air cools down and it's humid at night. It was an education, and the stars for me were always a backdrop to it, and they were sort of a gateway to understanding what was going on in nature, what was going on in the cosmos, where we were in the grand scheme of things. And I've always wanted to do that. It's not so much, I enjoy going and spending time outside, and I really appreciate the skills that you develop that make it easier and more comfortable to be outside. But for me, it's always also been how do I understand this world that used to occupy every waking moment of every day? It was a matter of survival for us, and now by and large we just discount it. We don't care, we're in air conditioned, most of us, have all the comforts of home, literally. There's no need to worry about what's outside. It's become a world apart, and a world we don't respect, a world we don't pay attention to. So it's not enough for me just to go out and be able to survive the night. I want to understand, why the raccoons do what they do, why the owls do what they do, when I can expect to see the ospreys come back into town. I want a connection. So back to astronomy. It's a great thing. It's a part of that natural world, and a thing to be aware of, and a thing to pay attention to, and it's beautiful in its own right. So, this week, mid-April 2018, specifically Tuesday, the 17th, look out to the west right after sunset. That bright light you see is Venus. Right next to it would be an impossibly thin crescent moon. Take a picture. Those two next to each other. It's going to be a pretty sight. And back to the meteors. The end of this month, actually the end of this week, next Saturday into Sunday morning is going to be the peak of the Lyrid's shower. It's called the Lyrids because the apparent point of origin is the constellation Lyra. It's in the northeast. At about 2 or 3 in the morning is when you'll get the best view. And that'll be right after the quarter moon, almost quarter moon, sets, and it's nice and dark. It's not a big shower. You'll probably see 12 to 15 meteors an hour. I always wondered when I was watching meteors, why do we know when they're coming? Why are there showers? And why is it always in the early morning that they peak? And it's that kind of questioning that really, got me interested in this stuff and made me pay attention. The answer is geometry. And it comes down to meteors don't happen at a time, they happen at a place. Meteor showers are generated by the dust tails of comets. And those comets have orbits. And those orbits intersect ours. And at this same time every year, the Earth slams into the dust cloud left over from the debris coming off of that comet that's continuing to orbit the Sun. We go through that cloud, that dust slams into the atmosphere and hits us, and it's coming from the direction that the Earth is traveling. So that's why we see it in the early morning, because that's when you can look up and actually look in the direction that the Earth is traveling. Right now the Earth is traveling about that way. We can't see the meteors coming in that way, but as we rotate around, we'll be able to see it. So if you're interested more in the geometry of kind of how that happens and what some of these meteor showers look like, and I'll post a list here of some of the regular showers that are coming up through the rest of the year. Some of them are going to be blocked because it'd be the same time as a full moon or a bright moon, but some are denser than others. That river of dust is narrow, it's wide, it just depends on the comet that left it. But it's that kind of observational, recognizing every April we see this same shower coming from the same place. You start to piece things together. And I'm just fascinated by that, in addition to it being beautiful. So this weekend, Saturday night, spend some time, get out there with a blanket around midnight, 2 or 3 in the morning after the sun goes down. Maybe get up really early. See if you can catch a Lyrid or 2. And, as with all things outdoors, appreciate it, learn about it, understand it. Your comfort level and your enjoyment will be that much higher from understanding what it is that's going on. So, thanks for listening to me ramble, and get out there. Thanks.